Good morning, champions. Good morning again. Hello. I'm on my way to meet a client regarding some potatoes for chips. Making chips. We're gonna speak Czech again. Budeme zase mluvit taky česky. A nebo ne dneska? We're not gonna do Czech today. Let's not do Czech today. No Czech today. We're just gonna do it in English today for my American or English speaking viewers. Let's talk about what do we talk about today? How about living costs? Living costs here in the Czech Republic and jobs. Let's talk about two things: jobs and living costs. If you're thinking about moving to the Czech Republic, join me for the ride. We have like 20 minutes or so before I get there. We're going to this farm in Boskovstein. Excuse me. All right, so I had like people tell me recently in my other video that because I talk about how cheap it is here to live here, and this person said, yeah, but if you're making this much money, but if you're making this much money and it's not that cheap and yada yada, which fair point. So let me clear things up. So basically, if you're thinking about living here in the Czech Republic, the living costs, percentage-wise, if you're coming from the States, I don't know what it's like in your country, wherever you're watching this from, but if you're coming from the States, and I'm guessing it'd be the same everywhere, that whatever kind of job you have, if you're working a regular job and you're making an average salary, whatever it is in your country, then percentage-wise, your money is probably going to go to, like literally half of your money is going to go to rent or mortgage if you're renting or you have a mortgage, literally. So your money's going to go to that. It's going to disappear. And then, other expenses like electricity, water, utility bills, internet, yada, 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 and you're probably going to lose another, 10, 20%, and then you're left over for whatever food and fun time for yourself. So I would think like 50 to 60, 70% is just going to disappear on these. Oh man, I was flying through the little village. It was going 65. Oops. It's 50 in these villages, 50. So you're probably going to lose, 60 to 70% after you pay your mortgage and utility bills and everything like that. I'm talking about here in the Czech Republic. And I would think it would be the same everywhere in the world, especially in the U.S. It's the same. Pretty much almost everything goes to living in the U.S. It's expensive in the States right now. So, and when it comes to jobs, when you have an average salary here, which is like here in the Czech Republic, man, I should have looked it up, but I think they say it's like 40,000 crowns online, which is, depending on the exchange rate that day, it could be $2,000, it could be 1,500. It's going to be more in Prague because it's more expensive to live in Prague. So you're probably going to have like 50,000 crowns, which is $2,000, $2,500. But if you're going to be living somewhere out in the countryside or smaller towns, let's say in Znojmo or something, it's probably going to be less, which is going to be like, how much is it going to be? It could be like 25 or 30,000 crowns, which is like an average salary, which is like $1,000 to 1,500 a month, if that. Like a lot of people say different things. So I'm just going off by what I see online for all the job offerings and what they're offering. And rent is going to be like, if you're making 25,000, crowns a month, which is $1,000 to 1,200, something like that. Rent here in Znojmo, I think is like, man, if it's a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom, it could be like 12 to 15,000 crowns. So pretty much like even more than half of your paycheck is bye-bye. So you're already talking, if you're making $1,000, then $500, $600, $700 is gone for rent in Znojmo, I believe. Those are the right numbers. Things have changed drastically after COVID. Crazy. But if you're going to be living in Prague, it's going to be expensive. I have a friend that lives in Prague. He's got 2 kids, him and his wife, they live in an apartment building, and they pay, I think, everything all included. Their overhead every month is with their I don't know, I think they have a mortgage, and I think they're paying like 50 to 60,000 crowns, which is $2,000. So the other partner has to cover them. So when you live in Prague, you gotta make way more. If you're gonna be living in Prague, you know, you're gonna have to make at least $2,000, 50,000 crowns, because rent's probably gonna cost you $1,000 or more, 25,000 crowns. But when you're living out here in the village, it's gonna cost you a little, you know, let's say half of that, but you're gonna get half a paycheck less. Now, when I make my videos and I'm telling you guys, you know, it's cheap living here, yeah, compared to the US, like food prices and car prices, insurance, your bills, let's say your taxes, taxes are a little less. I think they're like 27% over here. But I mean, your property tax, your insurance costs for your house, car is way cheap. It's so cheap. It's crazy. Then again, I'm always talking, you know, for me, I'm talking about me now. So in my case, you know, I don't rent or have a mortgage. I own my own place. So I don't have rent or I don't have mortgage. So my overhead is only electricity, water. What else am I paying? Internet, electricity, water, gas. And that comes out to not even 10,000 crowns. So it costs me like, I think it was like 8 now or something. Yeah, so not even $400 a month is my overhead. Let's say if I have my, let's say my car insurance as well, house insurance, taxes, everything all included for the year, it'd probably come out to 10,000 crowns if I spread it out evenly. So $400 a month. It's about $100 a week, which is insane. So that's why I always say it's so cheap. So like if you own your own place here in the Czech Republic, it's insane. And it's kind of the same everywhere, even in the States. You know, if you own your own place and then you get to keep your salary and you're just paying your property tax, insurance, you know, and your utilities, you're going to save a lot of money. So, but also, I'm going to have to admit that when I look for jobs or projects that I want to do, I don't know, I've been in the e-commerce pretty much my entire life, and analytics, e-commerce, web development, yada yada yada. I've been doing that since I was 15, so I'm getting old. I'm old, so it's been 25 years now I've been doing it. So I like to think that I'm an expert in it. So when I find companies here, when I'm like, you know what, I'm bored, let me try to get a project or something, I get paid pretty well. I just, you know, I try to be a little less than in the States, because here it's like, they're like, Jesus, that much? But, you know, they always know that they're getting, they don't know, but they're getting like the best quality, you know, it's kind of interesting. When I apply for a job, let's say for like a e-commerce project, whatever it may be, you know, and whatever I'm asking for, I do OSVČ, which means like I'm like my own business. I do my own taxes, so I get to save a little more. All right. So, and I think it costs me like 10,000 crowns every month to pay for the Social Security and insurance. I think that overhead's like 10,000 crowns. So sometimes when I go to a company, I've worked for Notino, I've done Prospanek, I've done M-Spuma. Notino is the perfume company. I ran their online marketing, the warehouse in the States, and yada yada. We can get into that another time. I've done Prospanek, they're a furniture company. I was the marketing boss there. I've done M-Spuma, it's another cream company. I've done Head, I've done Umbro, and all these little mini companies. But when I do a project for them, for example, a project at Prospanek, I did a project for them for 4 months, and I charged them 100,000 every month. So minus my 10,000 overhead for Social Security and insurance, so I had 90,000 every month. And, you know, sometimes they're like, wow, that's just so much. But they're willing to give it to you if you're coming from the States, because they always think like you know more than them. And it's not really like I know more than somebody here in the Czech Republic. It's just basically that I've been doing it for 25 years. And I concentrate on different aspects within the e-commerce. You know, your job is to make sales. So your job is to get attention, which means impressions, and turn those impressions into clicks, and then from clicks to sales. So that's the job. So once you've been doing it for 25 years, I mean, it kind of gets old too. So you know, when I do a project, you know, some companies I'll charge only 50,000, for example. You know, 50,000, or Notino's like 100. Postponic was 100. Was at Notino for like 3 years. I made a couple million working there. That was pretty cool. But you know, you have to understand that. So when I do a project for, let's say, 50,000, right, just a normal company, or 60,000, doesn't matter, here in the Znojmo area, whatever it may be, then you know, my overhead is only, you know, 10,000 a month. So I get to save all my money, pretty much. So it varies, depends like what companies I'm working with, what I'm doing, how big they are, and I'll just charge them based on that. So again, when it comes to living here in the Czech Republic, and you're working a normal job and you have rent to pay or a mortgage, you're probably going to lose, you know, 50% at least of your paycheck, whatever job you have here. And, you know, like if you're a little smart and you have a brain, you can make more. Since if they think you're a foreigner coming from the States, you're going to make a little more than the Czech person working here. So if, I don't know, that's been my case. But again, it comes with experience. So anyways, I'm almost here. This castle is pretty cool here on the right. This place right here on the right is cool too. I did a project for them. Agro Family Park. You can see it in my my YouTube videos. So I'll catch you guys when I head back home again. I'm gonna do this meeting real quick. Truck, let me back up here. Let him through. That's a big boy. He's a winner. Thanks, dude. I'm like thanking him for letting me live. I'm like, thanks, dude. Thanks for letting me live. Thanks for letting me back up. All right, I'll catch you guys later, all right? We got JC Tour in front of us. JC number 1, baby. I'll be right back. All right, let me put you guys back. I'm back again. All right, just finished my meeting. Turn this on. Where's my keys? From the Lambo. Like I told you, get a Skoda. I got the German flag on here. That's funny. I thought it was kind of cool. But get the Skoda. Don't forget to buy a Skoda. All right, check out my Skoda video. Skodas are the best. Got the white interior, leather interior with the sunroof. All right. So let's continue. Let's go back. Back up here. In front of us, we got firefighters. Hasičská zbrojnice. Well, I don't know firefighter, and I don't know what zbrojnica is, but I think it's like, I don't know, the fighters or something. I don't know. All right, let's get out of here. So, what was I talking about? I was talking about living and making money here. We got a little castle in front of us. I call it like the little mini castle. It's pretty cool looking. And then here on the left, you can't really see it, is the what's it called? The Agro Family Park. It's pretty cool looking. There's a nice little lake in here in front of us. It's pretty cool looking. All right, so let's go to Znojmo while we're at it. And let's go to the store again, get some goods. I got a long day today. So living, like I said, if you have a mortgage, rent, it's gonna suck because, you know, and you have a normal job here, average job, it's the same everywhere. Just like in the States, you're gonna lose 50% of your salary. Literally, it's gone. Probably even 60 to 70, I would say. Yeah, something like that. 50 to 70% is gone. You know, depending if you want to live right downtown or not in the downtown area, but still. So that really sucks. So your overhead overall with utilities and everything, and yeah, it's probably gonna be like 75%. It sucks. But like I was saying, if you are coming from the States and you are, you know, really good at something, you have like a niche, a specialty, especially in the online marketing or in IT or something, you can make really good money here. All right. And it's, you know, I don't know. I just, I don't want to say I'm lucky. It's just that, you got to offer them value. So, I'm a e-commerce specialist. So when I look at their analytics for a company, you know, I try to make adjustments in their marketing campaigns and then, or whatever process within the company, so I can save them the money that I'm charging them. So for example, like if I'm, yeah, now I'm not even talking about living and jobs, I guess, working, I guess it's part of it. But so like, yeah, if I tell them like, yeah, I want to make 100,000 crowns a month, which is like $4,000, you know, after taxes are going to be like, taxes cost me for 100,000 crowns, which is $4,000. My taxes were, because I'm in Osobocho, which I do my own taxes, so Social Security and health insurance, my taxes were 10,000 crowns, 10% from that, which is insane. 10% tax bracket. I mean, that's awesome. But if you work for a company and you work on the books for them, or like, meaning you're an employee, it's gonna cost, it's like 27%, I think. It's like a third of your paycheck goes bye-bye, you know, so that really sucks. So if I was working for the company and I was making 100,000, I'm probably gonna get like 70 or something like that. 70%, yeah, 70. So it's better to do it, you know, work for yourself. Some companies allow you to do it, some companies don't here in the Czech Republic. But anyway, so if I tell them like, yeah, you know, I want 100,000 to do their online marketing campaign analysis or whatever I'm doing, obviously I got to make them more. So, you know, I'll try to figure out a campaign where they can make more sales, increase sales, or they do an adjustment to their current marketing campaigns so they can save that money, whatever they're paying, you know, whatever they're paying me. So, you know, if I make them if they're losing 100,000 on me, you know, I try to make them, you know, at least double that, so they get to save and they get to pay me. So it costs them nothing after that, and everything else from that moment is a bonus. I kind of like, let me back up over here. Let me move over here. Let me just stop right here. I got you, buddy. I got you, buddy. Appreciate. Man, it's tight corners here sometimes. Tight corners. All right, so let's go slow here. Open up the window. I don't want to turn on the AC just yet. It's nice outside today. It's 20 degrees Celsius, which is, I don't know, probably like 70 degrees. Something like that, maybe 75. I don't know, probably 70. Fahrenheit. All right, let me go slow right here. All right. So, we'll do another video about ladies. Czech women. I love the Czech women. It's like the older I'm getting, the hotter they are. It's funny. All right. So, yeah. So, you know, I like working for mom and pop shops. Like, let's go. Like I've worked for big companies and corporations, and it's fun and all because it's all about the numbers. You know, I'm not really like into like, hey, let's go have a beer at the end of the day and things like that, you know, because I just want to, you know, I want to make a really good, not impression, but like a performance. I want performance for the company. That's what that's why they hired me. So anyways, JC, #1, baby. So yeah, I'll leave that open. So yeah, pretty much if you have a mortgage, if you're going to come here to live and you have to rent, or you'll have a mortgage and you have an average job, average salary, you're going to lose 50 to 75% of your money. Just like anywhere else in the world. You know, in the US it seemed when I was over there, it seemed I was losing a lot more. It's crazy. Even if you're making $4,000, $5,000, you know, rent is still high. And then all your insurance, car insurance, property tax, and man, it gets crazy. So you end up with the same amount. Percentage-wise, I always say it's the same. So, but if you're coming as a foreigner, especially from the States to the Czech Republic, and you are a specialist in a niche, or you're doing IT or something, you're going to get paid very well. Literally, you can find that really good gig. Like in Prague and Brno, these big cities. That's where I do my projects sometimes. But I love the little mom and pop shops. It's cool too. When you can get a company that you work for. Let's say if it was in Znojmo, you know, and you live out in the village somewhere, it's awesome. It's totally awesome. Because you make some bank, and your overhead is like practically nothing because it's so cheap. Like I said, to live here, I totally love it. You know, chicken. You know, I buy chicken. It's like, how much does a chicken cost? Like, for a kilo is like 2.2 pounds. And that comes out to like anywhere from 150 crowns to 200 crowns, something like that, I believe, or 250. So it's like, comes out to like $7, $7 to $10 maximum. You know, and you get the real good stuff. You can get the real good stuff. You know, I don't know. I kind of like it. Beer is cheap. I keep talking about beer. $1. Let's let this trucker go. Just let him go. There you go. He was going to cut in there anyways. Bonstra is the company. All right, well, that's enough yapping about that. So if you're a little smart and you know what you're doing, your money's going to go a long way here in the Czech Republic. That's for sure. All right, well, I guess I'll catch you guys later. Adios.